Hey, with Homebuyer Academy Live. I'm your host Maurice. I'm here with my brother Chad. Chad, what's going on? How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, my brother. How are you today?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm not just blessed, man. I'm grateful, man. Today has been a great day, and I'm just enjoying all that God is doing, man. I'm so grateful for like patience, just trusting God and being patient. I know that I've been saying that a lot this year, but like when you see the fruit of it manifested quickly, man, it's amazing. Like when you're going after something and then it comes and you still get excited, but you knew it was gonna happen. It's like, yeah, that's what my day been like today, man. But how about you?
It's a beautiful thing. One thing I'd say inside of that is that when you hit those, even what seems like small goals in the time, it's always important to even celebrate the small victories because it's showing gratitude for what you've gotten, leaving room for more.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I love how you always give gratitude, man. But yeah, brother, blessed over here as well, man. Blessed over
Awesome.
here as well. A lot of things moving. I'm getting really collected and connected for the year. It's
hmm
taken me a while. Can you imagine? It's the 20th already.
Yeah,
This year is just flying by. So I do want to say that I'm grateful for just another day, grateful for another opportunity, and I'm really excited about what's to come in this new season.
I'm excited too. And actually remind me of like where we were going in today's episode. I was actually talking to my mom earlier, and she was kind of saying like January, like it's still January, and we have so much potential in this year. That's like just taking this time like to just sit in how we want the end of the year to look, right? And what we doing now to see how we want the end of the year to look and just get those pieces in place. So yeah. And so like it's interesting that we're gonna be talking about that very thing tonight.
Right. Getting your home buying and real estate goals set up for the year.
hmm
Right. So that's exactly what our intention is for this evening. So we're so grateful. Anybody that's watching on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. If you know anybody that's in the market to buy a house and we might have a gem or two that blesses their life, feel free to share this with them
hmm
specifically, and also I'll be happy for you to share it publicly as well. Um, Instagram, Facebook, just go ahead and give us a like because we want to make sure that we're able to tap in and go deeper into this work as time progresses. Because our goal with Homebuyer Academy is to meet you where you are, because our ultimate goal is to not just have you buy real estate, but then to protect it and then pass it on in a way that's going to bless you and your future generations. So that's what we're doing here at Homebuyer Academy. We're going to be spending time to hit people at those different points in their journey. So feel free to get involved and stay engaged because we're looking to make big changes in the world.
Yeah, and just like any other academy, some people just get their bachelor's, their home, but then they go to the master's program and their doctorate program. So I know I'm just doing a play on words, but just I'm just using that example to let you know that there's so much within Homebuyer Academy, and we're excited that soon, very soon, we're going to be showing more of that to you all, and I'm excited with where we're going with this year. So, oh, I think you went mute.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I was saying, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, please give us a like, a follow, a share. Anybody that's in the game to be able to elevate their lives by acquiring real estate, whether it be their first home or their fifth one, we'll be able to refer and offer some solutions, some resources, and insights to make the journey that much easier. So, yeah, we're looking forward to work with our people and really connect and collaborate in a major way this year, brother.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah,
in a
man.
in a major way, man. Um, and I think this is a good time to segue into like the pivot. Like, what does the year look like to you? Like, as we're focusing out on the year, like, what does 2026 look like for Chad?
Right. So, uh, first off, from 2022, 2023, all the way up till now, we've done, as a matter of fact, the clock goes even further from there. But from the launch of my book, The Home Buyer Blueprint, we've really stepped up the work around empowering the community around home ownership. And what we found is that we've been able to touch and inspire people in churches, people in different organizations and networks. And it's been truly inspiring. And what I realized is that as we're working with people in this space, uh, we also want to start to incorporate people uh, from a more aspirational standpoint, because
Mhm.
it's not just about doing everything that you can to buy the first home. It's about being strategic to not just buy that first home to leverage it to develop equity, but also to have a
Right.
plan for legacy. Because the generational legacy part doesn't, generational wealth part doesn't come in until you actually take care of that wealth in this generation, much less the next one.
Yeah.
So, us really taking the time to focus on that whole entire journey where we help people to acquire, but then we help people to protect, and we help people to set up a plan so that
Mhm.
their one first house is a blessing and not a burden to their next generations.
Yeah, one common theme, I mean, I think it's essential for like the new year, but one common thing I'm seeing is um is that like our is a the scripture that talks about like our people perish for a lack of knowledge. So there's like this big push to like gather information, but also in our experience, there's a lot of people that simply don't know what's accessible to them and how to get the information that they need. That's why I'm so passionate about what we're doing with the Homebuyer Academy, especially when it comes to like planning for the future. If you guys like, you know my story, like that caused me to redirect my whole plan for my life, where it kind of like lit a fire on doing what's important and essential, like estate planning, putting your house in a home, protecting your home for your kids, having something to pass down to your kids, and now being able to take that and show others how to do the same thing. Uh, I take a lot of pride in that. I take because like you don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know what tomorrow looks like, and we live life where we just hope everything works out great. But it's so important when we can actually plan it out. When you actually plan it out and set the right pieces in place, then when the what ifs happen, you're covered and protected.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And you said that it's important for people to be able to know where to get the information.
Mm.
Information is great, but it's limited without the implementation.
Yeah.
Right? If you really want to get to a point that your life changes, the formula is information plus application equals transformation. So while it's blessed that you get that information, now we want to be able to give you that next step, which is how to apply it to be
Mhm.
able to get to your end result, which is the transformation. Taking you from a renter, giving you the information and the resources, and now the keys to your home, you become a homeowner, giving you a homeowner an opportunity to get connected to an estate planning attorney. Now your house is in a trust, and now we're talking legacy plays. Going from being able to own one house to refinance, take the money out to put down on another house. Now you've started your investment process. We want to help you to just get to that next phase. And as Maurice said, it's critically important. And now is such a blessed moment in this season of the year because it's all things new.
Mhm.
We're 20 days old now, but all things are new. So all of the things that have been on your heart and on your spirit for the last years, now is a moment for you to be able to really nurture and cultivate that idea and turn it into something that you can now look at and say, I did this, I have this, I'll get to pass down this. And it's all within your reach. It's just a matter of really getting intentional, very intentional and specific about what your next move is. And the blessing is that in this planning phase, you get to play with it. So the first thing that I want to recommend that everybody out there do is to take time in stillness, take time in meditation and prayer. Because in those moments, that's when you ask those questions and you put these desires of your heart and you bring them to the Almighty, what happens is that the answers as to how they emerge in your life begins to come. But give yourself that opportunity to release it, to declare it and release it, and allow God to do the work and then bring it back to you in a way that you could start the process of applying it. Because you never know if it's going to come over in the form of a whisper, in the form of some synchronicity, in the form of a call from somebody that you haven't heard from in years. But if you
Mhm.
leave room for that first step to just make your declaration and then bring it to God and then let God do his thing. That's the first phase for me in my planning process. So I've gotten really heavy into my meditation, and I'm actually about to go on a fast. I don't know if I didn't tell anybody yet, Mo, but I'm about to go on a
Oh,
fast.
we'll edit that out. I was like, no, but that's
Yeah.
good, man. That's good. And when you were talking, man, I had this vision of like track, and it made me think of like we're in the perfect part to like reset or get set. And I used to run track in high school, so like what you have to do first is you kind of like shake out the kinks, you shake out the nerves, and so you gotta let go of those things that you could be nervous about, and then you approach the line. You got to get in position, right? And that means trying to focus in on what you're here to do. What is your goal for the year, right? And then once you lock in on that goal and you get in position, you look up and focus on that goal. And then when God says go, all you do is bullet full speed to that goal. Don't look to your left, to your right. Lock in until you hit that goal. And that was the vision that I just got while you was talking, because right now, January, we're shaking out the kinks from last year. We're shaking off 2025, and we're approaching that line. I call the line tax season. Where you're preparing. Doing that tax break. You're gonna see what your money looking like for the rest of the year, and then you can put that in position. But you got to first lock in on that goal, buying that house. If you already got a house, do you have a will? Do you have that estate planted? Get those are simple things that you can set in place now. But once you lock in on that goal, run towards it. And the best way for you to run towards it is by booking a call. You could book a call right now. You don't have to wait for this podcast episode to be over. You don't have to wait to slide in our DMs. You can book a call right now and change your life and get yourself ready, set to be on the move.
Yeah, man, I received that. One thing that I've learned in my journey is I've set goals that I have to look back and ask myself, what was the inspiration behind that goal? And sometimes I found myself way down a path of something that, for whatever reason, I was inspired or I was moved to do this one thing. But when I come back down to it, for me, one of my biggest motivating factors at different points in my life had been scarcity. So
Mm-hmm.
when you set a goal from scarcity, all you can get is lack, less than
Ooh.
all that you are, less than your education, less than your capabilities, all because you want to grab something that feels more secure. But the unfortunate thing about grabbing something that you feel more secure about is, like, if you try to grab the water in the pool, that's not going to help you to stay up. The reality is that it's important for you first to actually ultimately let go and allow. So for me, I've taken the time, and I'm taking the time before I set any declarations. I'm getting really, really abundantly clear as to the levels that God wants me to play on. Right? How high does God want me to envision myself? How high does God want me to be able to soar with these abilities that He's given me, and living beyond my limitations of my own physical and emotional mind and limitations, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we all have our stories, we all have our things that have knocked us off track from time, from points or one point or another. But staying in stillness and staying in faith and allowing yourself to be led by the divine power inside of you before you declare anything. So, my request of you this week is to take time to get still and to allow that vision to emerge, not from a space of what was or who you were, but from what's new.
And I received that too. And if I could add a testimony to that very point, I call back to like every year they give us like the last 2 weeks off at my job, and this year they said you can work extra during the time. I listened to my kids. I said, oh, hopefully he's gonna come back soon. Maybe the camera dropped. But oh, there you go. So I listened to my kids. It was like take off, and then I prayed about it, and I just really felt God said take off. And as I'm sitting in that stillness, God asked, "Do you trust me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So He said, "Do nothing." So I wasn't playing. I wasn't doing none of the work. Y'all saw I barely even posted videos or did anything for real. I did nothing. Fast forward to what we're doing now. Because I sat still, I was able to get clarity on what wasn't working last year, what we didn't need to bring over. I was more confident in the pivots that we're making with Homebuyer Academy and what I'm doing in my other businesses. And that's because I took that time to literally do nothing and trust God. So, like when Chad's talking about, take that stillness before you even write a goal, like that might not even be a goal. Because you have to ask yourself, does it really align? Like, yes, you're capable, you could be capable and able to do something, but does that align? Like, even buying a home, you're looking at all these new high rises coming up, but does that location align with what God is, where God is sending you, where He's calling you?
Is it your address?
Is that your address? Right, it could be in your price range, it could be, but is that your address? Is that, you know God could be doing something where, well, I'll never forget, like before I married my wife, right? She was about to move to Florida, but she decided to stay in Virginia. So if she had moved when she first felt the unction to, we would have probably not got married and then moved to Florida anyway. So she knew that like it was in her to move to Florida, but she wanted a husband too. So she ended up going down to Florida with her husband because she waited. She saw the vision, but then she saw the bigger vision. And so that's, I always think about that testimony when I think about when you wait on God and He's going to fulfill all the things that you want in your life. So yeah, just be in that stillness and wait.
So that's the best thing I could give you right now. And we're going to be going through this journey for the rest of the month, for the rest of the next few weeks, where we're going to be building on this process of setting your goals together. So stay with us, stay tuned. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and come join us again next week as we take a step into the next phase into your goal setting and year envisioning process. All right. So be still, everybody, and we'll see you next week.